know what they're doing behind these closed doors. The people deserve transparency. The fact that an unelected billionaire has all your private information is a problem.
It is time for us to shine. It is time for us to be heard. It is time for us to make sure that they know we will not go.
What we're in the face of right now is an authoritarian takeover of our country, and we say hell no, hell no, hell no.
Oh, you want to use our money to go to Mars? No, we want to use our money right here in Washington, D.C., in this country. We want to make sure that all of our federal employees are protected.
We have to fight this in the courts. We have to fight this in the Congress. We have to fight this in the streets. We need to fight this all over America. And we need to make sure that the billionaires don't take this country away from the working people of America. That's what it's all about. Stop the coup, stop the grift, stop Elon Musk, take our country back.
Now, Elon Musk is here to collect on his investment. He is here to seize power for himself. We are here to fight back.
And we cannot allow Elon Musk and a small group of people to secretly, behind closed doors, take away our privacy, take away our dollars, take away everything we have. We are going to fight this fight. I am going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. We will win. We will win.
Pitiful.
We will win. We will win.
As you could see there, that was a pitiful demonstration. Let me take it back. Thanks for rejoining the show. I took a little time off just to take a break from everything that's going on in the news over the past couple of weeks. What I want to talk about today is the fact that the Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk, working closely with the Trump administration, is looking into the books of various governmental organizations to see where the fraud, waste, and abuse is occurring, which any administration, I don't care if you're Democratic or Republican, should want an audit of financial statements to show the American public where our taxpayer dollars are going. In this case, we're going to talk about the U.S. Agency for International Development, which is in short called USAID, that provides infrastructure repairs, humanitarian assistance needs to countries all over the globe. I happened to look at a current map of where USAID funding was going, and I saw all the other nations around the globe, but I did not see not one penny being allocated to United States citizens' needs, especially in the light of Hurricane Helene, the fires in LA, the fire in Maui. Not one red cent, at least the map did not show it anyway, as prominently as other areas on the globe. Now, as of right now, USAID, its employees anyway, are undergoing an audit. And so they have been blocked access. Elon Musk, working with the Trump administration, with the Department of Government Efficiency, shut down access to most operations and operators around the globe. As a matter of fact, when you go to USAID's website, there's a notification that pops up. Now, even though it says on Friday, February 7th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m., all USAID direct hire personnel will be placed on administrative leave globally, with the exception of designated personnel responsible for mission critical functions, core leadership, and specially designated programs. Essential personnel expect to continue working will be informed by agency leadership by Thursday, February 6th at 3 p.m. So as you can see, this website has nothing on it except for the statement. You can't look at the mission statement. You can't look at any other financial dealings that they had over the last 4 years because they're currently being audited. Now, getting back to the video that we just saw, the Democrats have no strategy. Their strategy for the last, 7 to 8 years has been to demonize Donald Trump, his family, and anyone who supports him, who is closely associated with him, especially his supporters. That is not a winning strategy, as evidenced in November 2024 during the general presidential election and all the down ballots that got hit as well. We maintained the U.S. House. We overtook the Senate as Republicans, and we have the White House. And so the entire 2024 campaign was all about demonizing Trump, demonizing Elon Musk, and it clearly didn't work. So it appears that in this video, they're doubling down on trashing Trump and Elon Musk simply for doing what the American people voted them in to do, which is to inspect and audit all of the federal spending and making sure that funding going around the globe for international development, roads, bridges, things like that, are in line and in keeping with America First. And so the outrage is false, in my opinion. I think that Democrats right now, they lack leadership, they lack guidance, they lack a party head that is going to lead them in the same manner that Donald Trump, number 47 president, has led the grand old party, or the MAGA supporters. So with that, I think that the strategy of pulling at the heartstrings of their voter base, which is mostly black women, but some black men, all of the 74 million voters that voted for Kamala Harris, cater into their voter base by trying to pull on the heartstrings and strike emotion among their party base to hit the streets. You heard them, to hit the streets, to cause chaos, to block traffic. For what? All because the current administration wants a more efficient government. Want to cut fraud, waste, and abuse as deeply as possible so we can chip away at this $36 trillion deficit that we're in. It's ridiculous. But here's what Marco Rubio had to say. Marco Rubio has just been nominated and chosen to be the State Department chair, the State Department head. And he is also dual-hatted as the head of USAID during this time period until we can get someone up in there after the audit, and we can nominate somebody to head that department and make sure that his or her actions are in line with American First policies. Here's a little bit what he had to say about USAID.
my frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so. So the functions of USAID, there are a lot of functions of USAID that are going to continue, that are going to be part of American foreign policy, but it has to be aligned with American foreign policy. I said very clearly during my confirmation hearing that every dollar we spend and every program we fund, that will be aligned with the national interest of the United States. And USAID has a history of sort of ignoring that and deciding that there's somehow a global charity separate from the national interest. These are taxpayer dollars. And so I'm very troubled by these reports that they've been unwilling to cooperate with people who are asking simple questions about what does this program do, who gets the money, who are our contractors, who's funded. And that sort of level of insubordination makes it impossible to conduct a sort of mature and serious review that I think foreign aid writ large should have. We're spending taxpayer money here. These are not donor dollars. These are taxpayer dollars. And we owe the American people the assurances that every dollar we are spending abroad is being spent on something that furthers our national interest. And so far, a lot of the people that work at USAID have just simply refused to cooperate.
Are you currently in charge of USAID, or are you?
I'm the acting director of USAID. I've delegated that authority to someone, but I stay in touch with him. And again, our goal was to go in and align our foreign aid to the national interest. But if you go to mission after mission and embassy after embassy around the world, you will often find that in many cases, USAID is involved in programs that run counter to what we're trying to do in our national strategy with that country or with that region. That cannot continue. USAID is not an independent, non-governmental entity. It is an entity that spends taxpayer dollars, and it needs to spend it, as the statute says, in alignment with the policy directives that they get from the Secretary of State, the National Security Council, and the President. And it's been 20 or 30 years where people have tried to reform it, and it refuses to reform. It refuses to cooperate. When we were in Congress, we couldn't even get answers to basic questions about programs. That will not continue. That's not going to continue.
See, there you heard that. When USAID was operating before Trump took office, there were congressional inquiries about certain programs, dollar amount associated with them, that the committee that oversees USAID did not get the cooperation from the top brass of that organization. Top brass at USAID were ignoring congressional inquiries about what the heck was going on in that organization. And so we're just in a prime position with two chambers of Congress controlled by the conservatives and the White House. We're in a position to demand that we look at those records and determine for ourselves and release to the American public whether or not everything that they've been doing and spending taxpayer dollars on was within line with America First policies. And so now I'm going to share an article with you. It's from the UK dailymail.com, a very reliable source of information as it reports about breaking news all around the world. I will leave a link in the description to the article so you can go and see and peruse for yourself. But without any further ado, we're going to get to the heading: all the shocking ways USAID spent your money. And it's quite eye-opening when I saw it. Right? So I'm not going to bore you with all the particular text and non-essential details. So the United States Agency for International Development was set up in 1961 to provide American money for aid overseas. But in recent years, it has used tens of millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars for some shocking expenditures. We're about to get into those. The agency has now been shuttered because Donald Trump and Elon Musk have found that the aid being doled out often does not accomplish core U.S. missions like expanding education and improving infrastructure. So already the article starts off with USAID over in recent years not being in line with American First policies. And so as we scroll down, so the article goes on to read, you gotta basically get rid of the whole thing. It's beyond repair, Musk said of USAID on Monday, on February 3rd. Now, Musk and officials at his Department of Government Efficiency are ready to dissolve the agency and roll it into the State Department, an idea Tesla CEO says Trump is on board with. So Elon Musk is not doing anything outside of Trump's wishes and outside of America First policies. Just after taking office, Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio implemented a 90-day freeze on most foreign aid to give the new administration time to review what USAID's $30 billion budget for 2025 is being used on. It sounds pretty reasonable to me. Some Republicans have been sounding the alarm on USAID for weeks, saying the agency is more focused on advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion than diplomacy. And some said USAID receipts show it. So once I get unfrozen from this page, we'll be able to scroll down. Right, so I'll just read the caption underneath here. This is one of the big ticket items that no longer will receive U.S. funding is a pro-LGBTQ plus group in Serbia through a group called Grupa Ijadi, which in English translate to group come out. The article goes on to read, this Serbian pro-LGBT plus group was receiving millions of dollars a year from USAID to expand employment opportunities in Serbia for the gay community. The money flowing to this group has been frozen by Trump, and I believe rightly so. All right, let's get into the numbers here. Some of the U.S. taxpayer dollars went to HIV research about transgenders. Now you know that the current administration is banning all funding that supports DEI and transgender operations for minor children. The WITS Health Consortium, a South African research facility that studies the transmission of HIV among sex workers and transgender people, has received $30 million from USAID since 2018, federal data shows. The South African research firm was awarded $38 million in total, but the final $8 million, which has yet to be allocated, may be slashed after Trump's foreign aid review. All right, so $30 million went to South African studies on how transgender get HIV. Millions to COVID lab in China. The White Coat Waste Project, an anti-animal experimentation group, also uncovered that USAID funded $38 million worth of grants that ended up going to the same lab where COVID-19 is believed to have originated from, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. All right, so another $38 million going to something that's not aligned to American First values. Serbian LGBT group, I think we touched on this before when we were looking at the pictures. Another big ticket item that no longer will receive U.S. funding is a pro-LGBTQ organization in Serbia called Grupa Ijadi. That means group come out. The NGO received $1.5 million from Biden administration's to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workspaces and business communities by promoting economic empowerment of and opportunity for LGBTQ plus people in Serbia. According to the grant, the Serbian group will foster an environment that increases employment potential for LGBTQ plus persons, expands opportunity for the same group of people, entrepreneurs, and reduces workplace discrimination. And as we go down here to this wonderful picture, you see that drag queens attended RuPaul's Drag Con UK 2025 at the Excel Center in London, Britain, 10 January 2025. The U.S. State Department will no longer fund DEI projects like Columbia transgender operas or Peruvian trans comic books, Mast told the U.S. Daily Mail. All right. Some of our taxpayer dollars went to electric vehicles in Vietnam. Another costly foreign aid fund package approved under Joe Biden's administration awarded $2.5 million for electric vehicles for Vietnam. What do we get for that in return? Somebody's got to start talking about whoever approved this under the Biden administration with the electric vehicles in Vietnam and everything else I just mentioned. When I started reading the article, we need to start asking the question about who in the U.S. government is getting kickbacks for this stuff, because there's got to be somebody and there's got to be some reason why those Democrats were yelling in the streets, yelling in the microphones because of what Trump and Elon Musk are doing with the Department of Government Efficiency. They're there to trim the fat and protect U.S. citizen interest. Since the huge investment of U.S. taxpayer dollars, there has been only one battery station built, avoiding a total of 260 gallons of gas, according to the USAID website. An average semi-truck holds roughly, by comparison, about 130 gallons of gas. All right, let's scoot down here. Here's another area where U.S. taxpayer dollars went. Trans care clinics. The agency also helped open Trans Care Clinic, an operation established to address ongoing gaps in transgender health care across Vietnam, according to September 2024 USAID press release. Another area where U.S. taxpayer dollars was going was the LGBTQ initiatives globally. USAID established in 2023 an LGBTQ plus policy to help advance non-heterosexual objectives around the globe. The policy advances USAID's commitment to supporting protection, inclusion, and human rights for all, so that LGBTQ plus individuals are able to live with dignity and freedom from all forms of violence, discrimination, stigma, criminalization, a memo announcing the program declared. All right, here's where we get into the smaller amounts, which is really a drop in the bucket, right? But these are the examples. Another area where U.S. taxpayer dollars went in operas in Colombia. For example, the State Department's Bureau of Western Hemispheric Affairs approved $25,000 for an opera in Colombia in order to increase transgender representation in the arts. In addition to the government funding, the group received $22,000 in private funding as well. So $47,000 total for a transgender opera in Colombia. This was a real one, House Foreign Affairs Chairman Brian Mast revealed to thedailymail.com. All right, so then now you have another $32,000 that went to produce Peruvian trans comic books If I can get my hands on that comic book, it's going to take me like hell to research that thing, but I'll share it with you, not in this clip, but in the future. The Peruvian Trans Comic Book Program received $32,000 under former Secretary of State Antony Blinken, according to federal documents. I wonder how much the former State Department head got for that one. $500,000 to expand atheism in Nepal. That seems like that's a good strategy. That sounds like a good program that's aligned with America First initiatives. I'm being facetious, of course. Sorry for the long-winded video, but I had to get it all in there so that to help my viewers get past the noise, get past the pulling of the heartstrings and stirring up emotions over nothing. Those things that I just mentioned is the Democratic plan. That has always been their plan. They don't care about USAID. They just care about the kickbacks they're receiving from it, allegedly. Democrats don't care about DEI. They don't care about none of this stuff. All they care about is the kickbacks, allegedly, that they may receive from these programs that are not aligned, by the way, with the America First policies. Be sure to smash the like button. Please share this video with whomever you deem worthy of watching it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.